Hello, everyone. It's Deb Floros for the Ava Motherwell collection. I've got these amazing galaxy beads. I'm so in love, and I'm combining them with some Italian poly resin. Those velvet violet and velvet peacock beads are 4 millimeter, and then those bright yellow beads are 6 millimeter. So incredible. These look so complementary together. Those drops are 61 millimeters, and the rounds are 12 millimeters. I've got some 4 millimeter curb chain, and this is a perfect chain for us to hang those 6 millimeter drops from. We're going to create a focal section for our necklace and attach those drops to the chain. This little section of the necklace is going to hang at the center and create a really fun cascade of those drops. I want them all to kind of come together, but you can space them out a little bit further for a little bit of a different variation of the design if you'd like. So I've got about 9 inches of chain. We're not going to need that much, but it will help me to figure out how much space I can use and space I need. I've got some 24 gauge wire, and I'm stringing on one of those drops. I'm pushing the wire around crisscross, and then I'm going to take one piece of the wire and wrap it around the other and pull the other straight up. Then I'm going to wrap a few times around. Now you really want that drop bead to have some room to move. So make sure that that loop that you're creating at the bottom is large enough, and you test it to make sure that your bead can have some great movement. Now, once you've got a few wraps, cut off your excess and then grab your round nose pliers and create a loop and do some more wraps around the section that's already got some wraps. But first, you'll want to add it to the very bottom link of that chain. So I'm holding on to that chain, and I'm taking the wire and I'm directly putting it onto the chain and wrapping. Like I said, add those wraps around the wraps that are already there. Now you can do a wire wrap loop and then attach with a jump ring if you're more comfortable with that. So there's the start. We're going to add the first one to the very bottom of the chain. I'm going to skip 2 links, and then I'm going to wire wrap on my next drop. Now you could do some of the pre-work ahead of time and get the first part of your drops created. I created them as I went along, but I love how this looks. Just a couple of links in between each of those drops will make these kind of play nicely together and really lay in a really fun way as your focal. So you're going to wrap those beads directly onto your chain. You can use your chain nose pliers to hold on to the loop as you do your wraps. And your wraps can be as precise or messy as you would like, whatever you prefer. I kind of go with a hybrid between precise and messy. And you'll always want to make sure you hold on to your excess piece of wire while you cut it. There's 3, looks pretty cool. I've got 3 more to go, and I'm going to add those just the same way. Now, I've got some 49 strand beading wire, and we're going to create the rest of the necklace, and I'm going to use some size 11 seed beads in kind of a nickel color. And I'm going to start the pattern of my necklace with the smaller beads. Now, I love these velvet beads. They have such a glow effect to them. Super cool. And I love that those colors tie back to those galaxy beads so nicely. Now, you can use all kinds of creative license for your pattern here. You don't have to use my pattern, but I did change up the back of the necklace a little bit towards the end, you'll see. But I tried to do a pattern of some of the smaller beads, and then a grouping of the larger beads, and then a grouping of the smaller beads, and then a grouping of the larger beads, but always bringing in those pops of yellow with those beautiful 6 millimeter beads. They are super cool and such a bright, glowing color. So then when you get down to this point in the necklace, you'll want to make sure that you have your focal piece ready to go. Now, I decided that I wanted to have that chain sit right where I have my very first loop of that chain. You could have more chain exposed, so that's another good reason to start with a longer length of chain, because maybe you want some of that chain exposed and that focal section can hang longer from the chain. Then I'm just going to continue my pattern up the other side exactly as the other side looks. And oh my gosh, I love how this comes together. The galaxy beads are so dreamy and have so much color variation. Each one is a little bit different, and I just love the combination of them with the other small beads. The velvet beads and those bright yellow beads are just such great combinations with these galaxy beads. Now, I think I want to end with my larger beads towards the back. When I tried this on, the length of it was just not right with that longer section of small beads towards the back. So I decided I just wanted to copy the 3 large beads and then just add on 1 yellow bead towards the end. And this is your chance to kind of check and make sure everything's consistent. All the beads are in the right pattern. You've got the right number of seed beads in between. I've got 2 in between each bead, by the way, if I didn't mention that already. And so I've got a good piece. Now I'm going to create my closure. And I'm just going to use a lobster claw and a large jump ring. And the first thing I want to do is get that jump ring closed up nice and tight so that my wire doesn't come out. So I'm using a couple pairs of pliers and getting that nice tight connection at the seam of that jump ring. Then I'm going to use some small pieces of French wire to cover up my beading wire towards the end. So I'm going to add a crimp, about a 1/2 inch of French wire, and then add my jump ring. And then I'm going to take my beading wire, put it down through the crimp and through that first bead. And then I'm going to pull that piece of wire and allow for everything to fall into place, my little piece of French wire to fall into place, and giving that jump ring some room to move, and then doing my first crimp. Then I'm going to go to the other side and I'm going to do the exact same thing, adding my lobster claw and having a consistent closure look at the other end. And don't crimp with your necklace in a straight line. I like to make sure all of the gaps are taken out, and then crimp the other side. I absolutely love how this came out. Oh my gosh, that cascade of beads in the center is so cool. Here's what it looks like on my mannequin. I hope you guys enjoyed this project. Check out these amazing beads at the avamotherwellcollection.com. Thanks for watching.